Hello.
Let's give her a warm round of applause.
I'd like to talk about a story I was watching on the news the other day. I was stunned by this. Apparently, 2 Intel workers from DC were playing with drones. One got their hand on them and it ended up crash landing on the White House lawn. The friends were intoxicated. It blew up all kinds of red flags. I thought that was amazing. Let me explain why that would be a problem. Security for our president. A drone landing in space where it's not even detected by radar. And they were drunk, so their story was clear and okay, and they were working for the government. Let me explain to you what drones are. They are unmanned aerial vehicles used in the military. That's the technical term. We call them drones. I've read an article about the significance of drone use. Jack Miller wrote about the importance of having them in warfare. Because if we didn't have these in place, Osama bin Laden wouldn't have been caught. So it is used by our Defense Department to keep us safe from terrorism. And instead of putting troops in harm's way, they use drones that are strategically made just for combat missions like that. Now, on this other side of this topic, more and more people are using drones in a personal way. They're making them very inexpensive. You can buy them at Walmart. Amazon actually is getting ready to use this technology in the next 4 years. I have a video to show you about that.
And you want to put it on.
Now, I have a problem with this. Our privacy is being jeopardized. Benjamin Mayer wrote an article addressing this issue. He stated that in regard to the challenges posed to the Fourth Amendment, how many people know the Fourth Amendment? The right to privacy. Well, a poll was taken in reference to regular citizens using drones, and should regular people use drones. Most of Americans don't have a problem with Americans using drones at all in the military or law enforcement. But it was polled that the regular citizens should not have access to drones similarly to our gun laws. Because we have to realize that this innovation is here to stay, but we should have laws in place. So in closing, we should educate ourselves about the use of drones. You can buy them right at Walmart for as low as $19.99. Amazon sells them too. They vary in prices, so the average Joe can go out and buy a drone and do all kinds of things. But I think there should be procedures and requirements, just like we can't just go out and get a gun. There should be requirements and procedures that we all should have when it comes to drone use in America. What do you think?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Questions for Marilyn? Questions?
When you say $19.99, you mean like $20 or $200?
$19.99.
So just
You
$20.
You can buy a drone at Walmart, $20, yes.
You see planes that kids play with, or considered drones?
Actually, that's what the technology was probably based on, little remote control cars and airplanes, yes. Anything else?
Is
Yes.
that video actually real? Like
Yes.
that's what they're planning on doing?
Yes, well, actually, just Tuesday, I was looking at the news, and the FAA just stopped Amazon from their plan to do this actual type of delivery service. Within a 30-minute purchase online, your actual package would be delivered. And the FAA shot it down right now because of the privacy infringements and things like that.
Wow.
What specifically do you mean by privacy?
Yeah.
What specifically do you mean by privacy? Like what privacy issues specifically?
Okay, basically, people, if a person can get his or her hands on the drone, watching, surveillance, not knowing who's watching.
So they have cameras in them?
Cameras, they have cameras in them. They were concerned about the one that crash landed on the White House because terrorists get in the wrong hands and you never know. Because just as fun as it sounds, as we used to play with our remote control planes and cars, this type of innovation can actually be very invasive and unsafe in the wrong hands.
What's the difference between a drone and just someone walking around with a camera? Like I can't look at like someone.
Because it's undetected and it actually interferes with airspace. It is not detected at all, not at all. And that's what's causing the red flags when it comes to making regulations for this type of technology. Yes?
Going off of something you said, I did have a question about airspace interference. You know, is there some sort of technology that keeps them from running into planes or?
Well, that's what they're working on. That's one of this administration right now, because this particular drone flew in and on the lawn of the White House.
Mhm.
Fortunately for the president, it was not a threat. An intel worker who works for the government was drunk and decided to play with his friend's
Mhm.
drone, and he lost control and it crash landed and it flew all kinds of red flags up for security. Yes.
Okay, I argue with my parents all the time about this because they are actually in the FAA, both of them.
Really?
And, yeah, and, do you think it was a sound decision to call off the drones for Amazon because of the fact they might concern a safety issue with them?
Of course, because before you could just have this type of technology in your hands, one has to look at how one is going to use it. Could it be caught, bombs can be delivered, all kinds of bad things can happen. But on the other hand of that, it's also a moneymaker. We are in America and we're here to make money. So people are more thinking, this is not something that's going away. This is the robotic, we're getting ready to get into robots. And this is something that is here to stay.
You have a couple more questions?
You mentioned that you would like to put restrictions on people who would be able to access drones. What in your mind would be the proper amount of time to wait before you can own a drone, or restrictions on who could own a drone and who could not own a drone? What's your idea on
Well,
that?
my idea is exactly as getting a driver's license, getting a certificate
Yeah.
for gun use. You shouldn't have to go through the proper channels. Educate yourself
I feel like certain.
on what you want to use it for. If it's for fun, if it's for I think it's a great idea to spy on people. I mean, if you want to think about it, spy on your husband or something, if he's cheating. You know, you can set it up really good and just follow them. But I'm just saying, too much information is on camera. But I just think that it could be a very dangerous thing. Insurance companies think about it, slip and fall. Lawyers be like, oh, well, we can prove that this person didn't break their neck in this accident. We saw him, you know, so there are some things that need to be resolved, and I think it comes through education. Because now, at least, I don't know if everybody in here knew about drones. Now you do.
One more question. With the Patriot Act that was enacted in the start of this century, giving the government more license to go into people's personal lives if it's accounted for national security. With Amazon trying to put in the drones for the airspace, what do you think is the difference between government using personal information and being able to access personal information like that, for business accessing personal information?
Well, like I said, there has to be a dialogue on the small scale, the community scale, the small government, the federal government. We all need to come together on how this new technology, it's not new, because the military has been using it for a very long time. And I woke up one morning with a stealth bomber on top. I looked up to get my paper, and there was a stealth bomber on top of my house. So that's the largest scale that I can think of a drone use. The military has been using them for years. But now that particular technology is coming in the hands of regular citizens. People that may be good for our country and people might not have the best interest in our country. So that's where I feel regulation and procedure requirements just should not be able to have access at Walmart, depending upon what you're going to do with that particular device.
Thank you.
That's enough.
Thank you so much.